Welcome to the Seattle Investors Club podcast with Julie Clark and Joe Bauer, where we share the nuts and bolts of real estate investing from our 20-plus years in the industry. Sit back, relax, listen, and immediately take action. Are you ready? Here we go.
Welcome to another edition of the Seattle Investors Club podcast, where we talk about the nuts and bolts of real estate investing. My name is Joe Bauer, and I have my co-host Julie Clark on the show today. How are you doing, Julie?
I'm just lovely today, Joe. How are you?
I'm good. I'm somewhere in, I think, what did I say, Santa Cruz? I think I'm somewhere outside of Santa Cruz, and the weather's not good here. It's like 50.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, man. You know what happened to me this week?
What?
I don't know. We're in Seattle here, and we had some weird rainstorm that just came out of nowhere, like I don't know if it was a thunderstorm or what. And I have a stairwell in the back of my house that leads into the door of somebody's bedroom. And somehow it flooded up and water got into the damn bedroom. And I had to call the stupid water extraction guys. So, we're looking at now $2,000 later for, 40 square feet of water that came into my house. That didn't really hurt anything, but I had to pull out all the pad and pull off the damn trim and, just one of those pain in the asses, if you feel me, I don't know what could go wrong in a van. If you guys don't know it, Joe is living the fantastic life right now. What are some problems? It doesn't seem, maybe your toilet gets backed up or something like that. What can go wrong in the van?
Well, if we're talking about toilets, we have one, but we've only used it once or twice so far. So
What?
letting people in on a little bit of a secret here, we've been pooping outside.
Wow.
Yeah.
Marking the territory.
It's the, what do they call it? The squatty potty. It's for real when you're in the van. Somebody
told me there's like a bucket with a little toilety seat on there sorry guys, we're talking about poop today. It has like a bag of some sanitizer bag and you like sit on it and do your business, and it's some setup for outdoor pooping. I'm sure it's out there. I mean, we looked at quite a few of them. The toilet that we actually have is interesting. It's kind of like a diaper genie where you put your waste into the toilet and then it like spins and seals off and then drops into the bottom. Oh, and then you got to just throw it out later?
Yeah, and then you just throw it out as one complete piece, and it's pretty cool. I mean, very, very innovative. Like, it doesn't smell at all. It was a little bit more expensive, but so far so good. And the other thing is that, like, a lot of times we'll be at a state park or a national park campground, and they have got really nice facilities there. So you pay like $20 to $30 a night, and then you can take a shower, you can do whatever, even though we do have actually 2 showers in the van, but you can a lot of places will have
showers in there.
Yeah, we've got the indoor shower, which I have to like squat down to shower in, and then we've got an outdoor shower which comes out the back of the van. Man. And that's pretty cool because the other night we were backed into a campsite that was kind of secluded, so we just popped open the rear shower and just showered out in the wilderness.
So awesome. Guys, this is the difference. This is yin and yang. Julie and Joe. Joe is out in a national park, pooping out in the woods and taking showers with nature. That's what I'm dealing with. I think there are 6 third grade, just graduated third grade girls in my house, making a giant forts and dancing to the, whatever you call it, what's that thing, the Alexa, whatever they're doing down there. And to get away from them, I am actually sitting in my car to get away from them recording this podcast today. That's how we do it. This is real life, guys. We poop in the woods. We hide out in the car to avoid kids, to get this kind of stuff done for you guys. So, man, well,
I didn't realize you were in the car. We're both in cars. This is great.
This is right. This is like car talk.
Yeah.
Car talk.
Car talk real estate style. Well, when you came up with the nuts and bolts of real estate, wasn't it something about cars that you liked the name
Well, no,
for?
I love that show, Car Talk. I'm like, how can we do something like Car Talk? We didn't quite end up doing that type of format, but that was kind of my inspiration, I guess, for this entire thing, but kind of turned into its own thing.
Yeah, full circle.
I am full circle. We're so successful. I'm doing a podcast in a car. Real life. Right?
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, I wish I could tell you guys it was a Bentley that I'm sitting in, right? You see all these real estate investors out there flashing their flashy cars. Nope, I'm in a mom's car, guys. Yeah, I had to have a third row to get all these kids in here, but that's neither here nor there. Let's talk about since we're such winners in life, Joe.
Yeah.
We're gonna flip the coin on that today, and we're gonna talk more about failures.
Yeah,
right?
we are.
What kind of failures we actually are. So what are we talking about today, Joe?
We're getting vulnerable today. We're going to talk about how we've failed at real estate, because a lot of times people think or look to us as having all the answers. And I feel like, we do have a lot of answers in real estate and we can answer a lot of people's questions, but that's not because we were just brilliant, or at least I wasn't. You may have been brilliant, Julie, but I failed a lot.
Not even close. Yeah.
So we're going to get vulnerable today and talk about some of the things that we didn't do very well, at least the first time, and maybe not the second time or the third time.
Or still don't do well,
Yeah, that's
if
true.
we're going to get all vulnerable about it, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
absolutely.
well, I'm gearing up for my emotions. So what do you think? Kick us off. Kick us off, Joe.
Well, I think that something that we both can speak upon is trying to do too much ourselves, or as one person, because when we're growing up, a lot of times in school, they make you can't do tests with each other. So you're doing things all on your own, and you're expected to do these things on your own. So I know when I got into real estate, it was always on my own back. And they talked about building your team. I got involved with fortune builders and they were great, and they were, always said build your team, but I still didn't understand that fully. Like, it didn't really kick in, and I always tried to do stuff myself, put out bandit signs myself, do all the calls myself, go on all the appointments myself. And to some extent, I'm sure that we could talk about how, it makes sense to do those things before you bring people onto your team, but I definitely did them way longer, and I still have that problem, in business today, where it's like, all right, we recently had to fire one of our VAs, and so I'm stuck right now doing some of this database stuff that I shouldn't be doing, and I just, you get it done, but it's not the smart way of doing things, and it slows you down significantly, because a lot of times, or always, you want to be able to look at your day or your business as a whole and think, what is the best use of my time? What's going to bring the bottom line up? And I know that I definitely have failed at this over and over again. And I keep kicking myself, as, like I said, yesterday I was kicking myself because I was doing something that I shouldn't have been doing.
Well, I go through the same stuff. And what's crazy is that I think part of my do-it-yourself problem, I started off doing it myself because I have no patience. I want to get it done now. I definitely don't lack in the hustle and drive department. And so when, you're excited about something or passionate about something, you want to get it done now. And I think that still to this day, my challenge is definitely that I take on too much, that I don't have the patience to wait for somebody to assist me to get it done. And that, causes me to slow down or be inconsistent. I mean, here I am. I'm still doing it today. I got 6 kids in there, and I'm trying to record a podcast. I've got to take my mom to an appointment. I have a listing that I got to deal with, and it's like super far, in some crazy too far away location, but it's a repeat client, so I got to do it. I mean, I think that while I always like to think I'm skilled at multitasking, I'll admit it, to the world that I think my multitasking and my impatience screws me on the do-it-yourself thing. And I, for some reason, have a hard time having that, getting over that, you know?
Yeah, you've done a good job though of getting, hiring. What would you call Kurt?
I call him my runner, my all-around guy. I mean, we're talking, I have a guy that I have like a few people that help me do tasks as I am aware that I need to let go of those things, running or picking up signs or even getting paperwork signed or open houses. I'm a freak for open houses because I want to serve my clients and our deals so much that I always feel like I have to be there for at least the first day myself, which I think is a good, helps me pass stuff on, but to whoever's coming after me. But definitely on the do-it-yourself thing, I think there's like a reason behind that. It's like like you need to talk to the counselor on why everybody feels like they need to do it themselves. And I think mine comes from being impatient is what drives that for me. Because I certainly know that I don't have the skills to do everything by myself. I mean, I love you, Joe. Joe's the best thing that ever happened to me. Between Joe and Kirk and Leslie and Claudette and my whole team, right? And of course, Francisca, shout out to our nanny. I would be, dead in the water on the do-it-yourself thing. So our advice, failure, I mean, we would probably be, if you could be the ultimate delegator and start that soon, you're going to have success. Failure is continuous as you try to continue to do stuff by yourself, I think.
Yeah, I would agree. And actually, in my real estate life, I came across this guy named Nick Tang, who's out in New York City. And he was probably the best guy that I've ever met at delegating. Like, he would come up with an idea and get everybody really excited about it. And then he'd be like, hey, Joe, do this. And, hey, Paul, do this. Hey, Julie, do this. And then you'd look back and he would be like just the guy that was coming up with the ideas. And then he would get everyone excited to just go and do them.
I keep thinking that that's kind of who I am. But then I realize as I go through my day-to-day stuff, that I'm not. I'm still doing too much myself. There are some people that I see out there that they get it. Even me coming up in this biz, when I was younger, coming up in real estate, I worked for a major real estate investment company, and the principal of our company, he just surrounded himself with talent, right? And he'd give away and share the wealth. And when he does that, everybody killed themselves, right? I think the hard part is finding the talent. So, another failure that we've had, if we want to move past doing it all yourself, is not being, getting the right people around you, right?
Right.
Not getting the right, it just dawned on me the other day. I'm like, who am I hanging out with that is bringing me up, right? I love all my friends and, of course we're all in it together. I never even think about things in terms like that. Like, who am I hanging around that's bringing me up? It could be financially or motivationally or health-wise. And I definitely have people in my life health-wise that are bringing me up, including you and some of my good friends. But I just hit me the other day, like, God, I need to, other than these real estate gurus, that maybe I need to really start seeking out, a mentor and mentors on maybe different subject matters that I get closer with, not just, listen to, I guess I'll say. Yeah. So, take it to the next level.
I hear you. I've failed it. Well, in some aspects I am, but in other aspects I'm not, because I always tend to be the teacher, and that's where my comfort zone is. So if if I'm analyzing and being hypercritical of myself, I have kind of failed a little bit though at finding particular mentors that could help. And I actually had an aha moment yesterday when I was talking with this guy that does it really, really well. And when I was asking him about mentors and who mentors that he's had all these amazing mentors, in different parts of his life. And what he did, and it was just like so simple and brilliant, is he found out people that were not necessarily in the guru status, but people that were a little bit ahead of where he was. And he just reached out to them and said, hey, I'd love for you to be a mentor for me. How could we figure this out? And it wasn't always a paid thing. It was just like, if somebody asked me to mentor them, I'd love it. I'm always down.
That's a good point. I think people, when they think of that, they think they got to, get somebody that is name brand or everybody knows who they are or something like that. But maybe you're right. It is just as simple as, what was that? Getting somebody that's a click ahead of you or a couple clicks ahead of you. Mm-hmm. Right. And probably the magic that happens there is, you end up learning from each other and growing together, which is super cool, rather than trying to get somebody to mentor you that's 5 or 10 rungs above you. Focus on just like, 1 or 2. That's a good aha moment just right there. Right. We all need mentors, and that's going to change over time on what you need. Or, I always kind of look at things on what is my need for the moment? What is it that I'm focused on right now that I think is the thought leader? I like that word, thought leader. Try to seek out those people, but.
Yeah. And the cool thing that, I don't know why I haven't thought about this before, but the cool thing about this and finding, somebody that can help you out is the day and age that we live in. You can just go on Instagram or Twitter, and probably these people that you're already following already, and you can just contact them. And I've found that when I'm reaching out to people, whether it's for like interviews for this podcast or other things that I just have questions about, people respond to me about 75% of the time if I just go on Instagram and send them a direct message. It's amazing. And that's, how would you have done that 15 years ago? Write them a letter or, right. I don't know, but it's so easy these days.
So I guess the tip here, guys, as we are saying, is that we still probably do too much ourselves, even though we are aware that it brings us down. And so admitting that is a major failure, for me, total major failure as far as that goes, I'm just thinking here as I'm saying it out loud, how many things that I'm currently failing on because I'm doing it myself. I have gotten a lot better on stuff, but it's always a constant reminder to delegate and bring on teammates. And it might have nothing to do with your business, because it's all about, maybe there are certain things that you want to manage yourself, but what else in your life doesn't have to be business related, can you delegate out to somebody else to give yourself more time, right? I think time is a component in this entire, failure conversation, that is going to be an underlying theme here today. But
absolutely,
the do-it-yourselfers. If you're a do-it-yourselfer, get off the do-it-yourself wagon and then come tell us how you did it, because we're still doing it ourselves. Lord help us.
Yeah, here I am getting into coaching mode again, but I think that the way that I've started to have a little bit of success in this is by just finding people to start with the little things for you, like if I can hire somebody for $5 an hour in the Philippines to like do some list cleaning for us, or even like, having somebody else wash your car, right, or clean your house, or anything just super little, so you can see like, oh, wow, they did a good job and I didn't have to do it myself. And I thought that I needed to do it to do a good job.
You know what would be a good challenge for everybody is you guys throw your declarations of what you're going to do, like at least once a month, or maybe actually, if you can, once a week, right? Something that you are reluctant to let somebody else do, just try it one time, because I think if you get that feeling like, holy shit, what was I waiting for? Right?
Yep.
And it's almost like if that can be repetitive, if you can train yourself to test that once a week, just say, this week, I'm just going to let it go. I'm going to let somebody else do it and see what happens, right? For me, that might be like, let somebody else do the open house, because I just need to let go. Let somebody else go. I don't know, get the paperwork signed with the seller, something like that. And challenge yourself once a week. I think if you, like I said, if you have a couple successes in a row of stuff like that, I think for me, now I'm talking personally, that would be enough to make me have more of an aha moment that I need to give it up, right? I'm just frustrated even thinking about it, to be honest with you.
Yep.
Dang it!
Absolutely. Let's dig in a little bit to how we've really screwed up with our hiring.
Oh God.
Because right now I feel like we're blessed. We have Claudette right now, and she's fantastic. We have a couple of other people on our team that are super awesome, but we didn't do that well from the start.
And we burnt years.
We did. We've burnt years on that. We've probably burnt years on trying to do stuff ourselves too much, or like move so much slower than we need to be. And the how we failed at the hiring thing is like we tried to, well, at least in my opinion, you can pipe in on what you think, but we found some things we learned about, but some of the things we didn't do well is hired people that were too much like ourselves. Right. And people that wanted to be us or wanted to have businesses like us. They were entrepreneurial. They weren't employee people. That's
the big tip. So, somebody who is just like a taskmaster is probably a better person, unless you're looking for a partner. You definitely, that's the trouble with hiring people that are interested in getting into real estate investing as a business themselves, right? They're either maybe going to leave you, or they're going to start doing their own thing. But you think at first, well, this is great because they're interested. You know what? If you really break it down, a lot of the stuff that needs to get done, you don't have to have any real estate skills for.
Nope.
Right? And so we failed. It took us a long time to find the right person. It's not that we didn't love everybody that was on our team before, which is another issue, right? Is we probably keep people around too long because we do love them so much, which is another failure that we had. But definitely taskmaster is who you're looking for, I think. Continuously failing at that. Right?
Yeah, because the thing is, it's easy to talk with people that are like you. So you go and you meet people and you network and whatnot, and it's like, oh, I really hit it off with this person, and maybe your business is a little further ahead than theirs, so it's super easy to be like, hey, you want to come work for me? And it's like all hugs and kisses around, and then you realize that they're trying to do a side hustle while they're trying to work for you because they're this entrepreneurial mindset. And what you really need to do is, like you said, find somebody that you love, but find the person that's been the employee, and they like that. They don't want to go out on their own, and they are the taskmaster, and that's what they enjoy doing, is going and getting it done. And an entrepreneur or an entrepreneurial relationship for them is scary. And that's what or maybe just something that they're not interested in. And like you said, they don't have to be in real estate at all, because a lot of this stuff doesn't really matter. Like if you get somebody that just really loves being a salesperson or whatnot, it doesn't matter if they're good at selling cars or real estate or whatever. You just need that person to be good at talking to people and relating to them. And if
you know what else I think? I think that we failed in the pay structure, right?
Oh, yeah.
We totally failed in the pay structure to start. I think I am a major fan of just straight up employee, right?
Yep.
You always think, oh, I don't want an employee. I don't want to pay payroll taxes. And But if you think about the personality or, of the person that is willing to work for a split, you can, some sort of salary, base salary, even the majority of their pay in a salary, I think for us was a lesson because we started the opposite way, and maybe that came out of a bit of a need, but I feel like the dedication of an employee, you have more control over them for one. You can set your expectations more clear, and I think you'll have less turnover, right? And we only in the last 9 months, 6 months, 9 months, figured that out. I got to give props to Redfin. I hate to say it, but the employee model, there are, pros and benefits to that, but that is, or pros and cons to that. But man, did we hold ourselves back for a long time by trying to go with the percentage type of employee. Failure.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not as scary as you would think with the whole actually having the payroll thing. Just look into it. A lot of gosh, we don't pay that much to even have somebody completely do it for us. It's super inexpensive. And we just didn't know what we didn't know. And it was
my friend
scary.
Sheree says that all the time. You don't know what you don't know. Yeah. I always think being in limbo is worse than having an answer, even if it's a bad answer, one way or another. So I guess that's a lesson. Get yourselves out of limbo. Just make a decision on something. That's another one, man. I'll tell you what. What else do we got here? What other failures, since we're throwing it all out there against the wall today here? What is today? Today's a Thursday or something like that?
It's hard to say, but I think it's a Thursday. Yeah.
Yes. Well, I can tell you another challenge I have myself. This is going to be short and sweet today because we're depressing ourselves by just having this conversation, guys. So we're going to be short and sweet today on this podcast, so we can go wallow in our sorrows here. But you know what? Admitting it is half the problem, is half the battle. So at least we can admit we still have all these failures, by the way, guys. This isn't something that we've conquered. Okay. So we're right in there with you guys on all this stuff. One big one for me is comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
Talked about that. I have a pretty good life. I must admit, things are going pretty good. But pushing me outside my comfort zone, I feel is risky sometimes, because I'm running the show here myself. Kids are happy, dog's happy, I'm happy, everybody's happy. And I definitely am at a point right now where I'm having to push myself out the comfort zone. And part of that is because of the way the world works now, right? You got to constantly be moving and pivoting, right? You can't start something and then stay that way forever. I know, even with Seattle Investors Club or investing business or even my brokerage business, it's constantly changing and pushing myself out of the comfort zone. I like the whole thing of trying something that's uncomfortable to prove to myself it's not as uncomfortable as I think. That's kind of where I'm at. I don't know. Where are you guys at? Where are you at, Joe?
Yeah, I'm with you. And it's funny because we've had a lot of the same failures as, even though I don't know if we talked about this before, even to each other. But yeah, I feel like on the exact same note, like I had the same thing coming from into real estate. And then, meaning that I came into real estate as an introvert and I was trying to do real estate as an introvert. Because even though right now I get to, and we've split up the business where we get to do things that we love on a daily basis. When you get started, sometimes you are not doing the things that you love. And if you try and really, pinhole yourself into that particular situation, like, not picking up the phone or not talking to sellers or not doing your marketing or whatever it may be. It's, you have to do all of those things. And if you are within your comfort zone, you're probably not. And a lot of people may not know this about me. I tell people this on a regular basis to motivate them, but I was the person that was so scared of public speaking when I was in high school and college that I would skip out on those days and make up excuses to my teachers so that I didn't have to get in front of the class, like it, or even like, you know, answering questions in class. I was the kid growing up that was like underneath the table when the server would come to take your order because I didn't want to talk to them. So what I would say though is that, like, get into that space where you're getting uncomfortable enough that it is normal.
How do you think you got out of it?
I did exactly that. I just did what was uncomfortable on a regular basis. And fortunately, I had some people like the fortune builders that would push me to get up on stage and whatnot. So they were helpful in that by giving a platform. I remember going and being in San Diego and had a little bit of success in real estate, and they're always trying to feature people that are having some success. And they called me up on stage with my business partner at the time. And, you know, there was, God, I don't even know how many people, hundreds of people, you know, in the room. And I just remember being petrified, but that's okay, because now that, even though that probably went terrible, or at least I thought it went terrible, I got more comfortable from it, you know, and then I did it again. And then it was just, you know, 75% is terrible. And then, you know, 50, and then 25. And then now it's at a point where you and I go up in front of a room of, you know, 50 to 120 people every month. And it's just like, hey, we can joke and shoot the shit, and it doesn't matter at all. But man, I was so scared of getting outside of my comfort zone at the start, and it definitely slowed me down. Definitely.
I hear that. So what do you want to work on for yourself these days?
As far as getting uncomfortable?
Or just in general with all your failures, Joe?
Yeah. The thing that I do want to work on most that we've touched upon is not doing it all. I really, like, I've had it on my task of things to do is to hire a VA for us, or even in just like a VA in general for life, because there's a lot of things that you don't necessarily have to be in the same room with the person or in the same state or in whatever, but just somebody that can do these little things that you don't need to be doing. And even if it frees up, 30 minutes of your day, if I had 30 more minutes in my day, I could spend that time, you know, working on improving or connecting with people on our, you know, social media, or coming up with a strategy for a new marketing plan, or, you know, talking with a mentor like we talked about that could, you know, tell us or tell me where I should go next for our business, you know. So I definitely have been failing at that, and I would like to find people to take over some of these things that are just not things that, as an owner of a company, co-owner of a company, I should be doing.
Right. I hear that. I think for me, I need to push myself out of the comfort zone a little bit. I'll make an excuse, you know, for myself that, I have to get all this bunch of stuff done, but really I'm probably dragging my feet, right? You know what I'm talking about? Because I'm nervous about stuff, or I'm, you know, I mean, I'm a super confident person just in general. I've just been that way my whole life, but I've never thought of myself as, you know, a teacher of anything. And it seems we've kind of fallen into this role. I don't want to say I mean, it's kind of on accident, just sort of naturally happened. You know, pushing myself to not be afraid to tell everybody even more about what I know. Sometimes I get nervous. Like, I don't want to say too much because I don't want to say the wrong thing. But you know what? I think I'm ready to do that. And I just need to like push myself over. I need to take that last jump, you know, and then also just, not doing everything myself. That's for sure. I think so, more so in my personal life. I don't have a problem delegating out business stuff and tasks like that, but we always talk about business stuff, but I think personally, I think I take on too much. I mean, Joe's over there going, like I said, I got 6 girls in the house right now. I got appointments for my mom I got to go to. I have so many things going on. I got an open house tonight. Why am I doing it? Why am I doing that? I could have probably got somebody else to take my mom to her appointment. Why am I doing all these things? So I continue to fail, in those sort of things all the time. And speaking of failing, I actually need to go because part of my responsibilities are waiting for me right now. So we're going to need to wrap up this big failure talk. And how do we make each other feel better? I feel better just talking about it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel better about it. I'm excited now, since we have talked about it, to go and, get over the hump of hiring somebody this week. So I'm going to commit to that. The next time that we record a podcast, I'm going to have hired somebody.
And the next time we record, I'm going to be 10 steps closer to pushing myself over the cliff on the big project that we're working on, Joe. So what are you guys committing to? It's okay to be a failure. Here's the thing. Let's just wrap it up with this, though, because I do got to go here. But I want to wrap it up with this. As much as I feel like sometimes when I fail, it makes me confused. It's not that I don't know why. I get like, it makes my mind disorganized, I guess I'll say. So, I'm looking forward to, what I want to say to you guys is don't give up, because especially in our real estate business, what I have learned, what I can share with you, what I've learned is that it is day by day. You can literally have a bunch of crap go wrong one day or 1 week, and the next week everything is going awesome and you're super excited. It's the yin and the yang. It's like a roller coaster. And when I realized that it's a roller coaster to be a real estate investor in the real estate business, and I put that expectation that I don't need to panic when that happens, the downs, and not get maybe too cocky or excited on the highs, it actually helped me a lot to calm down, and it helped me a lot to just push through and keep going. Because I think what people do is when they fail, they have a tendency to give up. And when they have a success, they have a tendency to slow down, as far as not being consistent about their mail, maybe taking a break. The point is, because we are on a roller coaster, you can't take a break on the systems, getting your mail out the door, generating leads. But you also don't have to be the one to do that for you. I would say I think it's almost impossible to be the person that takes all the appointments, generates all the leads, and handles everything yourself, unless you just want to be a small-time investor, which is cool. You can do that. But I know we have bigger aspirations than that, and we're going to keep pushing forward every day on that. Bust through our do-it-yourself issues, our no patience issues, our comfort zone issues, organizational issues, employee issues, right?
Absolutely.
So, hope just as today, guys, we wanted to just come clean with you guys and let you know that it's funny because I see all these people out there doing big stuff, or it's on social media, but the funny thing is that it isn't what it seems.
Nope.
There's so much puffing that goes on. It's crazy to me. And I think when I realized that, it's that I don't need to worry about that, because it's not necessarily, you don't need to compete with anybody. You just need to stay with yourself, because it's all a bunch of hype and BS and all that kind of stuff, right? And just be happy with who you are and the progress that you're making, and don't give up. Okay. Big group hug today. You guys get in. Let's give it up. Give big group hug. That's it.
Big group hug.
Big group hug.
I feel it. And if you guys want to share what you're working on or what you failed at. We'd love to hear that as well. And you'll probably feel better after you've done it, because I think we feel better about after talking about it. Drop that in the show notes. Go to seattleinvestorsclub.com/37 and let us know what you're working on. We would love to hear it.
Counseling session today, guys.
Yeah.
That's all. I guess for just me and Joe, we're just counseling ourselves today, but feel free to join in.
Yeah, get in on it. And as always, if you enjoyed this podcast, we'd love for you to give us a review on iTunes at seattleinvestorsclub.com/iTunes. So that's what we've got for you. Julie, have a fantastic rest of your day.
Right on. Enjoy the journey in the fantastic life. If you guys want to follow Joe, make sure, where can they follow you at?
Pretty much The Fantastic Life, just about anywhere. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter,
Awesome.
Online, all that stuff.
Well, that's not a failure. We'll give you that one for today. I'll live vicariously through you.
Cool. All right, guys.
See you later.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Seattle Investors Club podcast. If you have questions that you'd like to have answered on the show, shoot us an email at info@seattleiinvestorsclub.com. Now go out, take that action, and build that real estate business. Thanks for listening.